Luis Alvarez, President and CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, is on the line to give us an update on what's new in technology. Hi, Luis. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Rebecca. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's finally spring.
It is. Spring sprung last week, and you know what that means.
No, I'm afraid. It could mean a lot of things, but I'm assuming it spells something special in technology.
You are correct. You know, spring is the time of year that the latest techie gadgets start to show up, and that includes the newest smartphones. We've already heard about announcements from Google, Blackberry, Microsoft, and a few others, and there's even a rumor that Apple is prepping the release of their next iPhone, the 5S, sometime in the next couple of months. The most intriguing smartphone, though, for me, the one that I've been champing at the bit for, is the Samsung Galaxy S4, which was recently unveiled to the public.
Now, I've seen some news lately about the Galaxy S4. Aren't they calling it the iPhone killer or something like that?
You know, we've heard the term iPhone killer more than a few times since Apple introduced their incredible smartphone. But I actually think that Samsung has changed the game with the S4. It compares very favorably to the iPhone 5, with some analysts and early users claiming that it's a much better device. You know, as you can expect, since it's brand new, it's faster and has a newer, more capable operating system, which means newer and better apps. It also has front and rear-facing cameras, which is becoming standard on most mobile devices nowadays. And it has a 5-inch screen, which is much bigger than the iPhone, but the screen is so much better than the Retina screen that the iPhone has, with a resolution of, equivalent to a 27-inch high-definition monitor. It's incredible.
So what is this wow feature on the Samsung phone? I mean, it seems to me that all these new devices have some sort of wow factor. So what's so great about this one?
Well, you won't be disappointed with the S4. There are a few gee whiz or holy cow features that people will not only use to impress their friends, but, features that have practical use. For example, Samsung is one of the first smartphone providers to equip their phones with a functionality called near-field communication, or NFC. It's a term you're going to you'll hear more and more about. This lets the S4 exchange information wirelessly with any other device that is equipped with NFC.
So that sounds interesting, but how would you use that in the real world?
Well, one example is for purchasing stuff at stores. This is becoming increasingly popular in Europe, and it's just starting to catch on here in the U.S., and you'll see a lot more of it as it grows in popularity. Where you can find it, you can pay for a purchase or use a discount coupon that you might get via email or something just by waving the phone near a cash register that's equipped to handle the NFC transaction. The idea with this technology is that we'll speed things up, get us through the checkout lines faster, since none of us likes to stand in lines, right?
I'm not so sure about that. Are you sure that this is going to make those lines go faster?
Well, it should, but, so what else is cool? If you don't like NFC, there's plenty more to come.
Oh, okay. Give me something else.
Well, we've gotten used to phones having, GPS and other geolocation type technology built into it. But the S4 goes further, providing environmental sensors like temperature and a built-in barometer, so you can kind of be your own little weather station. It even comes built in with some health-related applications like a pedometer, so you can track how far you walk or run when you have the phone with you. And finally, the most awesome feature of the S4 is something that no other phone has and nobody's even thought of yet, and that's the ability to use your eyes to control the screen. The camera on the front of the phone can detect your eye movements and use that information to, for example, scroll the screen as you read an online article, or pause a video that you're watching if you happen to look away. And Samsung is promising additional development with this technology, so stand by for some more cool things that you'll be able to do with your eyes on the Samsung S4.
So maybe they'll set it up to console me when I start crying after I get my cell phone bill. I mean, this sounds great, but how much is this going to cost me? This has got to be expensive.
Well, depending on your carrier, you can expect to pay somewhere between $200 and $300 for the new phone. And I'm sure that assumes, of course, that you sign up for a new 2-year plan. Most wireless companies are just starting to accept pre-orders, even though the phone won't be available till about the beginning of May.
So do you think that the Galaxy S4 has enough going for it to get a person to upgrade? You know, I'm kind of skeptical about replacing perfectly good things with newer models just because they keep coming out with something I allegedly can't live with every few months.
I know. You still have that 1958 toaster someplace.
I do.
Well, I think Samsung will do well with the S4 because there are a bunch of people out there who are always clamoring to get the next new thing, which is why Apple releases a new phone pretty much every year. You know, is it so great that people will be willing to dump a phone they got within the last few months or maybe the last year to upgrade? You know, I don't think so. However, if you are in the market for a new phone and want to look at an alternative to the iPhone that packs a lot of, you know, technological punch, then the Samsung Galaxy S4 is definitely a device you should check out.
So reading between the lines, what you're saying is it probably isn't an iPhone killer, but
unless you want the iPhone to die, I don't think so.
Right. So, but over time, you think that the S4 will give Apple a run for their money?
I think it will because it incorporates some new technologies. I think for a long time, all the other manufacturers have been chasing the iPhone. So, you know, just trying to be a better iPhone. And Samsung, I think, is finally starting to say, well, let's not just copy what Apple does. Let's go in our own direction, like with this ability to let
track eye movement. Yeah. I mean, this is really cool kind of almost futuristic and scary. My eyes moving around the screen of the camera will be tracked by the phone watching my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, they're even talking about giving you the ability to dial a number just by looking at the number pad, and it, you know, registering where your eyes happen to be.
And imagine texting, how fast that would be.
Yeah, and I think my eyeballs would pop out of my head if I tried that. But yeah.
Well, it's better than your thumbs trying to type on those little itty-bitty numbers.
That's so true.
I mean, no wonder people were getting in car wrecks. Your thumb is larger than 3 of the letters.
Yeah.
How is that going to work?
Well, you know, they should have made the numbers or the letters.
The letters a little bit bigger, you think?
Yeah, I think
it's that Blackberry that started it. They went down to that tiny, tiny, minuscule keyboard, and I thought, are you joking me?
Well, that's why I'm kind of glad that phones are getting a little bigger again. You know, we tried the smaller phones. Let's go a little bigger with bigger keypads.
Hey, we're all getting older. We're all having visual problems. Our manual dexterity is not what it used to be. Come on, folks. I mean, we got a lot of baby boomers who buy these phones, make them so they work. You know, recently Apple had a great commercial where they were showing how these the headphones, the little headphone that fits in your ear, it's not designed for the inside of your ear.
Yeah.
They fall out all the time. I go, look at our ears and check out and make it the shape of the inside of our ears. These earbuds are terrible.
Well, that's why you're seeing those big, like, headset things making the comeback. You see the kids wearing them all the time now.
Oh, I like the jumbo headsets. I like large technology. Well, normally, as you know, I'm pretty cautious about racing out to buy the next big thing. But since I'm still using a flip phone that's a decade old, I'm going to go. I really am. I promise you, I'm not making this up. I'm going to go check out the Samsung S4. That's all the time we have today. But as always, thanks for being with us again, and we'll see you next week.
My pleasure, Rebecca. This is Louis Alvarez with the Alvarez Technology Group, reminding everyone that when it comes to technology, forewarned is sworn. Forewarned is sworn. Forewarned is sworn.